it's Tim Patterson, Trade Show Guy. Welcome to Monday, April 23rd, Trade Show Guy Monday morning coffee. It's kind of busy in the neighborhood. I hear wind blowers and leaf blowers and lawnmowers and stuff. So I figured I'd come out and join the fun. You know, it's cheaper to vacuum your own car than taking it to like a car wash and then paying 50 cents for 60 seconds of vacuum. And it sucks anyway, so. Here we are. I'm Tim Patterson, Trade Show Guy. I have a new book coming out. It's like within a week or so, week and a half by the time this airs. It's called Trade Show Superheroes and Exhibiting Zombies, 66 lists making the most of your trade show marketing. I've been doing the prep. It's out as a Kindle version for like $3.49. I know, and the paperback is like $19.99. It's going to be cool. It's fun. I'm looking to see how well this thing does compared to the first one, which was Trade Show Success, Marketing Success, Trade Show Success. I can't even remember the name of the book. Trade Show Success, 14 Proven Steps to Take Your Trade Show Marketing to the Next Level. Check it out on Amazon. That's where you can find it. You can go to the websites, TradeshowSuccessBook.com or TradeshowSuperheroes.com. There's some special deals there, perhaps. Maybe not. You should go check them out anyway. All right, so what do we got today on Trade Show Guy Monday Morning Coffee? I got a really kind of interesting interview with a guy I ran across. I don't know if he contacted me or if I found him and we reached out to each other. Anyway, Justin Croxton is got a company called Propellant Media, and they do a thing that I don't think I'd heard of before. If I had, I hadn't heard of in those terms. Geofencing. Geofencing, I think that's what it's called. It's targeting people with ads by their location. And it's interesting because it can really play a big part in trade shows, conferences, and events. So let's find out what it's all about. Hey, thanks for joining me for Trade Show Guy Monday Morning Coffee. This is Tim Patterson. I've got Justin Croxton, who's managing partner of Propellant Media. Justin, so nice of you to join us today on the morning coffee. So, you know, we've got the coffee. I don't know if you've got yours, but I brought mine. So
there's a little bit of my coffee right here.
Oh, Fresca. It's been a while since I've seen Fresca.
Nice. A little Fresca in the mornings.
So Propellant Media, tell me a little bit about the company.
Sure. So Propellant Media, we've been in business for a little over 3.5 years, but I think between all of our partners, I mean, we have over 50 years of experience. I think when we were first founded, we really came on the block to be able to offer what we consider to be these enterprise level solutions to small and mid-sized companies, emerging brands that don't have access to these different solutions, such as geofencing and programmatic display. And I mean, we do AdWords and SEO and all that other stuff, but I think over the past 3 years, we've really transitioned to really focusing a lot on our geofencing solution sets for small, mid-sized companies. And we do work with some larger brands that have more localized solutions that they need in specific cities and specific states. But, you know, I think the nice thing for us is being able to offer geofencing, which is one of those things where a lot of people aren't doing it, but they're hearing about it and they're like, you know what, I think I would like to do that, but it's just too expensive for me to, you know, dive into that space because a lot of these other platforms are a minimum of $10,000 or $20,000 a month. So that's essentially sort of how we were founded, and you know, it's really exciting stuff what we've been able to do over the past few years.
Well, when you reached out to me and you mentioned geofencing, I may have heard the term. I'm not sure if I have. It's been a while, and I went to your website and I got a sense of it. But let's kind of drill down and figure out what is geofencing and how does it apply to events and conferences and trade shows. You got 40, 50, 80,000 people in a 5 or 6 block period. So you're focusing on those, but let's figure out what it really is from your aspect.
So when someone asks me, you know, what is geofencing, this is sort of my standard answer.
Okay.
Geofencing is the ability to serve ads to people based on the physical places that they go. And I'm not talking about like targeting people in a city or in a state or in a zip code. I'm talking about targeting people that go to an individual building or go to a park or go to a event.
So you can really narrow it down.
Yeah, you really can. And so part of what you can do is you can build a digital geofence, a customized polygon around an actual physical location. And what happens is all the people that walk inside of that location we now have the ID to their smartphone device. We have the ability to serve ads to those people, both while they're there at the location, as well as for up to 30 days after they leave the location.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay.
we can serve ads to them in two different ways. They can see the ads when they happen to be on mobile apps. So we have access to well over 600,000 apps in the App Store. So when you think about Angry Birds, Words with Friends, the Weather Channel, all those different apps, and everybody can do this right now. You can literally pull out your phone, pull out one of your apps that's free or one that's paid, and you will notice that there are placements for ads on there. Those are the different places in which we'll be able to serve ads on. And then also on websites that accepts advertising, essentially. So it's a little different from Beacon technology. Beacon technology has more to do with, sending push notifications to different individuals, sort of a different animal. I think what we do is a little less intrusive, less sort of in your face, if you will, and more, hey, when that person happens to be on the app and they see an ad that's compelling, they'll click on that ad, and hopefully that ends up being an ideal customer or an ideal person that you want to have a conversation with.
Okay, so they're going to see it in apps and things. Are they going to see it on, like, if they're on Twitter, or because a lot of people at shows will use Twitter? Will ads be served on that, for instance, or Facebook or those types of platforms? I'm just curious.
It's not on those other platforms. Facebook, Twitter, these other companies have gotten so big that they intentionally just want to keep their own data. There was a point where we actually could use Facebook directly through our platform, but yeah, Facebook's at a point now where they're so big, they just want to hold on to all that data and that access themselves versus giving it to anyone else, unfortunately. Now, we might be able to get access to it again in the future, but right now, what we typically recommend clients to do is do geofencing, but then set up site retargeting pixels for, and this is getting a little more technical, but
yeah, no, I understand, yeah.
Site retargeting through Facebook and then all the other platforms that you want to do site retargeting through, so you can continue to have a conversation with those people as they're engaging with your brand or engaging with your company.
So let's say I was just at a show last month in Anaheim, and the Anaheim Convention Center, pretty big space there, a lot of hotels. They've got the convention center itself. So you've got several large acres of people there with 80,000 people coming and going for 3 days. But if you targeted them through apps and then retargeted, let's say when they're back home in St. Louis or up here in Oregon, they may still see an ad on that something relates to what they did there. Like if they were visiting, let's just pick a brand out, Bob's Red Mill, for example, and they decided they wanted to target their ads to people that were at that show at that time. They would have that information. They could do that through the retargeting as well as the geofencing. Is that a good understanding of it?
Yeah, they would. And again, the cool thing about it is that, and it sort of creates that the contrast with beacon technology, which requires placing a physical beacon on someone's location. But the cool thing with geofencing is that you can target them wherever they go after they leave the location or leave the conference. So if they've left the conference and they go to California or they go back to another location, those people can still see your ads for up to 30 days. Mm-hmm. And you control the frequency in which you're serving ads to those people. So if you only want to serve ads to them for 2 weeks, you can do that. If you want to serve them for only a week, you can do that. But it's up to 30 days.
Right.
And as you know, in just any form of advertising, it's best to continue to try to reach those people as often as you can until your budget is completely exhausted at that stage. And then hopefully, there's been some sort of an offer or something that enticed those individuals to act on your website or on your landing page in some way.
You got some sort of call to action or something, yeah. So how do you make something like that effective? You've got all these people that are there, and you can target them, and they're going to see that on their phone or their device. So what makes that effective? How do you guys work that angle?
It's a number of things. I would say the first thing, of course, is the audience itself. That's number one. You have to be targeting the right audience. And I think that's the power with geofencing. And that's the struggle that a lot of companies have. You don't want to put all your ad dollars towards all of these people that you really didn't intend to reach, like a billboard or a TV advertisement. You're hitting all these people, but you really only want to target this set number of folks. And so the first stage is the actual geofencing itself, knowing which audience you want to go after. In this case, if it's a trade show, then it's pretty easy to figure that part out. The second is the ad itself. And we tell people, don't just put an ad out that says, hey, I exist. Hey, check me out. Propellant Media. No, it needs to be something that's really enticing. So maybe you're providing a free ebook, or maybe you're doing a contest where you're giving away a free iPad if you enter in your information. Something that like lets people know that you are a company that happens to be there at the trade show and you're also doing a contest. So check me out type thing. And it also allows you to hopefully and potentially get some really good leads from that. And then finally, it's the landing page. It's the conversation that's being had on the landing page itself. Is it enticing enough to convince that person to, ultimately check you out? And if you're doing those things right, hopefully you're going to have a relatively decent click-through rate. You're going to get people that are going to click, and you're ultimately going to get some leads from that conference or from that trade show or event or whatever the thing that you're using. But you have to think that there's so much noise that's out there, and you just have to figure out what's going to be the thing that gets people to interact, with my brand. Exactly. If you're doing a good job with that, hopefully you'll be in a good place. But that's typically what we tell.
So, Justin, one of the things that occurred to me is that a lot of this stuff you're talking about, landing pages being right, the messaging being right, has been around for a long time. But you're bringing in the geofencing to it is a newer angle, and that's kind of what stands out to me as how you approach this. Is it's just another option for people to use. Is there a lot of competitors out there in this space doing those sorts of things, or? I'm just curious.
It's really not. It's not a lot of people that's doing it at this stage. Mainly, it's not a lot of people doing it at this stage just because it's new.
Right.
Not a lot of folks that's doing it just now. But I'd say I've had about 4 new leads that came into our agency, 3 of which are turning into new clients.
Right.
As a result of wanting to do geofencing for a few upcoming conferences. I think there's an accounting conference. There's a few other ones. There's conventions and conferences everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And people want to try new things. So, they want to see what works. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree. One last question. I'm just curious, with all of the, with Mark Zuckerberg in front of Congress and all this stuff about privacy and that sort of thing, it's no surprise that we're sharing things, and we've been sharing our location and people may or may not know that. I'm just curious if you've got a sense of how people feel about being targeted by where they are versus the websites they're on. And because if you go to shop at Lowe's.com or Amazon and you're shopping for a lawnmower or something, for the next 48 hours, you're going to see lawnmower ads, as you're browsing. So that's no surprise. I'm just curious if the privacy concerns are something that get discussed in your office. I'm just curious.
Yeah, we do. We have that conversation occasionally. I think there's a slight difference, but I don't think it's as big of a difference when we talk about like advertising at the zip code level versus advertising at the building level. It's like targeting this way versus targeting all the way down.
You're getting granular, yes.
Yeah, and in my mind, there's really not much. There's not much difference other than an advertiser just wanting to be more effective and more efficient with their ad spend. And my general thinking is, it'd be one thing if the advertiser was just obnoxious, they just had a bad company, bad corporate, bad culture, bad offer, and they're just annoying the heck out of people. Versus you're going to a personal injury lawyer trade show, and you have a software that's just for attorneys, and you want to get that software in front of those individuals. And they can choose themselves whether they want to click on those ads or not.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And if the advertiser wants to put a ton of money and just keep blasting those people, then unfortunately that's their prerogative. We wouldn't suggest that. You want to spread those impressions thin, across a certain period of time. But once in a while we get some folks that might be a little concerned about it, but I try to just change the context around a little bit. It's no different than just targeting people at the individual level versus targeting, a big swath of individuals.
Yeah, I mean, advertising has been targeting people for decades. I mean, you want that target market because you want the message to resonate with whoever is receiving it. So this is just no difference, just down to a finer point. So what are the typical costs? I know you kind of touched on this. What are typical costs of geofencing marketing that people run into?
The costs, there are a lot of platforms that require you to spend over $10,000, $20,000 a month We're typically seeing, for us, at least our platform, I can speak to that. Our minimums are $1,000 a month.
Right. Okay.
And there's also this thing called CPM, cost per thousand impressions. Right. Some folks charge an $8 CPM rate, some charge 10. And then there's some that are a little bit lower. We're right at the CPM of $8. So if you had $1,000 budget and you're being charged an $8 CPM rate, that would get you 125,000 impressions.
Yeah, that's a good comparison because people will ask that. So, and also I will put this link to you sent me a link to your ebook, which we will share and put on the show notes. I appreciate you doing that to learn more about geofencing. Justin Croxton, managing partner of Propellant Media, discussing geofencing. It's been fun to learn about this, Justin, and thanks for your time today on Trade Show Guy Monday Morning Coffee. Appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. Tim, thanks so much, man. I really do appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, geofencing, it's something that I learned a lot about, maybe you did too. I have no idea what the Trade Show tip of the week is, so I'm just going to make something up right here on the spot. Actually, I was working on some stuff, the bonuses that have to do with the book, Trade Show Superheroes. So if you buy the book, and you can go to the site, it'll steer you to that if you get the book, and you can pick up a couple of extras. One of them is a mind map that I've been working on, which has to do with pre-show marketing. Now there's a lot of different angles you can do and some channels, but they're basically the top 5: email, social media, public relations, telephone call, and in-person visits to get people to come to your show, and various things you can tell them. So those are the main those are the main 5 things, which I did say 5, right? I did say 5, right? 5. Main 5 things that are their channels for getting people to come to your booth, and how to do pre-show marketing. It's all very important. You leave out one part, you probably won't do too bad. You leave out 4 of them, you're probably gonna not get as many people to your booth, and you want people at your booth. All right, so one good thing of the week. Again, I have no clue, so I'm just kind of making this up on the spot. All right, I'll tell you what it is. It's the Homeland TV series, which is on Showtime. I think it's in season 6, and I think they have signed the crew and the cast and everybody for one more season, season 7. Now, season 6, I'm up to, there's like 12 episodes, and I think at the time of this release, they'll have maybe 2 left, but we're up to number 10, so we got 2 left to go. Homeland is a great series. It's wound its way through a lot of the world, starting off in the Middle East, and then coming back home to America to take on what might be a corrupt president, or what might be maybe a president who is trying to be put out of office by some people that it's just drama is what it is. It's great stuff, and the characters are terrific. It's one of my favorite shows. My wife loves it too. We both can't wait for the next couple of episodes. So that's one good thing this week. That would be the TV series on Showtime called Homeland. And that does it for this week's Trade Show Guy Monday Morning Coffee. It's not even morning. It's like afternoon. But this is being released in the morning, so technically